Welcome to yet another Monday live stream. My name is Shane Olson, and today is going to be an interesting one. There's this theme going on this month for the month of March. It's called March of Robots, where I actually don't know what website it is. I just know that there's a website doing a March of Robots theme for a bunch of concept artists. And I decided I'm going to do a robot today. A lot of people have asked for hard surface modeling in the past, and I'm gonna try. I don't have a concept on my screen. It's on the second screen. And what it actually is it's an old concept that I did in college. So I went to the Art Institute of Seattle. Hold on a second. I'm not seeing my chat. Let me get my chat going. Sorry, 1 second. Bear with me here. Okay, why am I not being able to log in here? Okay, chat, come on. I just hope the stream's working okay. Where did my OBS just go? I'm having a good time today. And where's chat? Chat. All right, I don't know why I'm not able to see chat here. Maybe if I do a search. No. Oh. I can see that I'm streaming. I just can't see chat. Sorry. The restream is like move things around on me and I can't see it. Password billing, blah, 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 blah. Man. Well. Oh, docs. Okay, I think I can find it here. There we go. Aha. Come on, chat. Come on in. Yay. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, let me know if you can hear me okay. Okay, as I was saying, I'm going to be doing a robot today. Hey, Josh. Okay, so forgive my lousy drawing skills. I'm a sculptor, not a sketch artist. But check this out. This is an old drawing that I did. I think this was, I want to say 1997. I'm sure a lot of people watching it aren't even born yet when I drew this thing. So when I was in school, I wanted to do an animation where this little robot, he's about the size of an egg. He's the size of an egg. And the name of the animation was called Just Visiting. And he came down from outer space to look for new, some kind of new energy for his spaceship. And here's the other one that I was working on. Okay, so this is the first design. Look how bad this is. It's so bad. Oh my goodness. So I kind of wanted to style them after this old Spielberg movie called Batteries Not Included. They were like these little spaceship aliens. And basically this guy, he's shaped like an egg, especially when he's all closed up. And then he has these little spheres that that kind of collapse into his body, and he kind of rolls around on these three spheres that pop out, and they go different directions, like when he's moving forward, and this one's they're magnetic, so he kind of rides. There's no connection points in between them, and yeah, the arms just kind of fold up and go inside of his body, and then his head kind of pops off the top half, and the thing slides open. And so this is what I was gonna attempt to model. I did it a long time ago in 3D Studio Max, way back in the day, and I was gonna attempt to do it again. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. It could be a horrendous failure, but it could be fun. So here we go, guys. All right, and welcome to the stream. Let's see. I'm gonna make an egg shape here to start with. I'll just mask off the top and turn it into an egg shape there. Leonard, yeah, it's been a long time, and so and it's funny because some of the ideas that I had, I've actually seen in movies, you know, or in like animated shorts. So there's this animated short that Pixar did, because I was gonna have this ship come down, and it's like this old rural house, right? This guy watching TV out in the middle of the sticks somewhere, and just the typical flying saucer setting where the big light comes down and the ship comes down. But as the ship comes into the screen, into the scene, you notice, or you realize, that the ship is only like the size of a frisbee. It's really small, because this guy's only the size of an egg. It's really small. But they used kind of that gag in one of these, in a Pixar short. Can't remember the name of it, but that was kind of funny. It's like, hey, somebody else had the same idea. Okay. So thanks for posting that, Neil. Yes, I do give away all these brushes for free. I actually have a brand new website, and it's a bit easier to find the brushes now. So you can head over to there. It looks like this when you get there. And hey, we're public live, but you can see them right here underneath resources. You will have to sign up for a free account. But once you do, you'll have access to this public area, and you can grab the free brushes right here. It's a little easier to find than days of old. But I welcome you to join us. Even if you do have the ZBrush brushes, you can join the public area. Okay, so now I'm going to use the slice brush right here to just kind of, I'm trying to decide how dense I want this mesh. I don't think very dense. And I just want to slice it right there just to get 2 polygroups. This could be a thing, taking childhood sketches and making them 3D models. Yeah, I've thought about that. Hey, what's up, Wilberth? Okay, and then I want to slice off the bottom as well. And this will, before I do that though, I want to put a sphere in there to start to, like, I want the bottom to be a sphere that can come out of the bottom. So I want to line it up to make sure that it works in there. And then it'll show me where I need to cut it. Okay. So I think maybe hang it out a little bit lower. And then I'll split it. Oh, looks like my custom menu is not working. If you ever run into that issue and your custom menu isn't available, all you have to do is go to Preferences, Config, and then Restore Custom UI, and it will pop back just like this. Okay, so I just want to do a split unmask points, and now that puts it into its own subtool, and now I know right where to cut this egg at. I'm actually gonna like slice it though using this knife lasso tool. Actually, let's use the knife curve. This one. That way I can get a cleaner line right here. Yeah, it kind of breaks this flow, so I'm gonna adjust the shape of this a little bit more. Maybe go a little bit larger on the sphere. And then make that other shape kind of fit it better. Now I can't make the center go past this this line here, because that will make it so the sphere can't come out. It's like an engineering thing, right, Leonard? Okay. Leonard does some engineering stuff. It's pretty fascinating. Okay, so I also want to split these two off. I'm going to use split group for this one though. Group split. And then it will put the top in its own, then this one in its own, and the bottom in its own. So now when the lower sphere comes out, it will come out like, oh, it looks like I need it to be like this. I need to match up to that center line, so maybe I do have it a little too large. Hack engineer. I really want to adjust this sphere, but I can't. As long as it clears, I guess it'll be fine. Maybe I'll put a lip around the inside of this and make it kind of be like that a little bit. There we go. That's kind of fun. Okay, let's take a look at this. And I want to close the holes on it. So just run close holes. And that will fill it with a like triangular mesh, and that's okay for now. And then I can go do a group by creasing. So I got a crease, well, I want to crease by polygroup, which will put a crease in between these polygroups. And then I can ZRemesh these. See how the bottom, when you use the knife brush, it makes these triangles, and it also makes these triangles. So if you want to clean it up, you can ZRemesh it. So let me duplicate this mesh just in case. I don't want to lose the one I have because I like the shape of it. But if you go to if you try to do a dynamic subdivision at this point, it's not going to work very well because the triangles don't subdivide very well. So it's better to ZRemesh it. And I'm going to do a keep groups, and then I'm going to turn smooth groups all the way down to 0. Hit keep creases. I can do detect edges, but it's already doing keep creases, so it should be fine. It might be way too dense, which it is. Okay, so I'm going to do it again and do, let's try 1,000 points. Just see what we get. Okay, that's pretty clean. I like that. Okay, now I could go half and ZRemesh it again and get even lower, There we go. That's nice. Because, and I always say this over and over, the smoothest mesh you can have is a low polygon subdivided mesh. That's the smoothest you're going to get. I don't know what elbow cough means, Marcio. I don't understand the reference, sorry. Okay. And then this one, again, I can do a close holes on it. So now it's this cap right here. And then I can do the same thing. I'm going to, now that I'm happy with the other one, I can delete this. Let's save it. Save as robot. Okay. And let's go back to this head and duplicate it. I already did I? No. Okay, now we have 2. Hide the original. And we have this closed holes, so now we can ZRemesh this. Well, let's do a crease polygroups first. And then, again, I want to turn on keep groups, keep creases, turn smooth groups all the way down. And let's do let's try a 1 again and see what it gives us. Yep, not too bad. Let's click on half and ZRemesh it down a couple times. Nice and clean. Okay, now let's unhide this one. These edges might just match up. They do. That's nice. Okay, now we have our two pieces, our top and our bottom, actually three pieces. So this one is a little too high now, so we can delete it. Okay, I don't know what this one is. Oh, it looks like I group split this one off. So I also, in the subtool menu, what I like to do is I like to grab the head and put it up top, and then the body, and then the lower sphere. And I don't think we need this disk thing. I don't know what it's doing. So I'm going to delete it. Delete. Okay. A dab, like, I guess so. Okay, now that we have these three objects, again, I'm making this, if you're just joining us, I'm making this, well, I'm trying to model this old thing that I drew. I'm not that great of a sketch artist. This is just okay. And yeah, he's sad. He's sad at how bad this drawing is. But here's the details of the hands. These arms, they're supposed to fold up in here, and then he scoots around on these three spheres. They kind of pop out, and he rolls around on them, kind of like a unicycle. And then his neck is made of these wires and things. And yeah, this is kind of like a Buzz Lightyear shield with his eyes in there. So nothing too crazy. I might add some extra details inside of his head. Now, I did do an update to this design, and I made the cuts be kind of swoopy, where it comes apart. That way, when the spheres would roll, they would make some interest. So but I don't know if I want to take it that far and make the lines swoopy. We'll see. I do like how it kind of reveals this little sort of pseudo mouth thing right here, but yeah, we'll see if I can pull that off. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the greatest hard surface modeling person, so we'll see how this goes. Hey Nahanda, how are you doing? Welcome. Welcome everyone. Okay. So now we have the egg shape down. Now I could combine these two back together and kind of pull those swoops, and then the swoops, that's kind of the engineering. It would break my brain to figure out. But I don't know. I don't know if I want to tackle that today. I'll just keep them straight for a minute. Hey Charlie, how are you doing? Okay, let's see. Let's make the side panels. So if this is looking at it from the side, and these panels just kind of come out. So I'm gonna grab this Z modeler and go over to polygroup, just a single poly, and we can assign these polys a new polygroup. So we can utilize the polys that are already there. Trying to decide if I want to go one more and do the full thing. So these would be the arm panels. And I'm trying to decide, because I kind of want the shoulders quite large. So I might go like one more width. That would make it too wide, I think. But I'm going to try it. Let's go. Let's do it. Because I want enough space for those arms to come out. And they'll be all folded up. So I'd rather have too much than too little. You're exploring the design, starting with a rough sketch and using your strengths to define the game. I'm trying, Leonard, I'm trying. Okay. Now that I have these panels, I'm going to group split them. So group split, okay. I'm going to turn off dynamic subdivisions. Dynamic subdivisions, if there's an open edge, it's going to shrink your mesh. Okay, so now I can extrude these. Here, let me turn on double so you can see that there are two side panels. And then I can use this Z modeler again to hover over a face and say extrude polygroup all. And I want them to extrude inward, not outward. So I just got to determine the thickness of these doors. Something like this. I kind of want them to go in and then slide to the side. Hey, what's up, Sammy? Okay, now that I have this, what I can do is utilize group by normals. So group by normals puts a new polygroup on everything past a 45-degree angle, which you can see it's polygrouping everything right here. And now I can do a mirror and weld, which will equalize or symmetrize the polygroups, so it's not different on both sides. Okay, so now it's the same. And now what I can do is I can crease by polygroup, like so, and then I can turn my crease level down to say a 3. And now when I turn on dynamic subdivisions and I crank them to like a 4, then they'll have sharp but semi-smooth edges. See these edges? Then it makes for very, very clean panels. So those panels look pretty nice. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm trying to decide if I want to do any extra detail on this body. I'll probably do it later on, but I can solo this. Oh, it looks like it split my groups. Okay, if you ever I do this all the time. If you because I split the groups, to get the panels off, but I also had the caps. They were different groups. That's probably where that other one came from. But now I have these floating caps right here. Basically, what I want to do, not all is lost. All you have to do is merge this down. So I'm going to go merge down. Okay, and now the caps are back, but they're not welded. Okay, so what you need to do is just do a weld points, which I have right here, weld points. And it doesn't look like anything happened, but you can tell if something happened if you hit D for dynamic subdivisions, and if this splits right here along the border between the two polygroups, you'll know that the weld did not work. So you need to increase your weld distance tolerance. That's kind of a mouthful to say, isn't it? Okay, let's turn on double so we can see the inside. So now we have these panels. I am going to get rid of the bottom and make a hole for the spheres to go up inside, but for now I'm just going to leave it capped off like that. And then let's add a thickness to this in the same way that we did before, but I want to extrude the I'm trying to think what I want to do here. Okay, this will be fun. I'm going to make the thickness of the top and the bottom right now. See how on this design it has this little overlapping lip. I kind of want to put that overlapping lip in there so when his head goes down it's a tight fit, and then I can make a notch in the top of his head, so when it sits down in there, it's a tight fit. Those little things are really fun to do with 3D printing, because then you have to be very careful and make your tolerances and have enough space that it will actually work, but you want it to have a tight fit, but loose enough that it works. There, what am I trying to say? Okay, I can do that with a door panel too, but we'll see how it goes. And you do this in toy making all the time. Hey, Eric, what's going on, man? Yeah, some robots. I know a lot of people have been asking. So I'm finally doing some hard surface stuff. Okay, so back to ZModeler. I'm going to do an insert edge loop, which is the default setting for the ZModeler. And when I click it, you'll see that, let's see, while I'm inserting a mesh, if I push shift, it will kind of go to either one side or the other. Can you see that? It's kind of giving me a different result when I hold down shift. It's matching the outside edge better, and that's what I want. Okay, so I'm going to go about the same thickness as I extruded the other piece. Okay. All right, Ian, thanks for letting me know, man. Okay. So I want to have this ring in a separate poly group. And rather than like clicking each face one by one, there is a little setting inside the ZModeler where you can set a whole ring into its own poly group. So what I can do is I can go poly group, and it's called poly loop right here. And if you zoom in close, you can see there's a little orange line that kind of shows you the direction which you're going to shoot that loop through. So it's kind of hard to see, but I'm going to click it aiming this direction, and it makes a new whole poly loop, which is what I want. Do you know why the polys are not the same size when I initialize a poly star as a cylinder? Poly star? I'm not quite understanding what you're asking. Some rows are narrow, do you know? Yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm Yeah, maybe try asking it in a different way. I'm not sorry about that. Okay. So now that I have this lip here, I'm going to push it. Let's see. Oh, poly mesh, but it's a star. It's a famous poly. Are you trying to say when you go to create? Yes, I don't really use the primitives that are built inside of ZBrush very much. I use the primitives that I've made in, so I made these in Maya specifically. The pole? Are you asking about the pole of the cylinder? Yeah, I don't use it enough to know. Like I said, I use my own cylinder. I use my cylinder because it has a quad top on it rather than a pole. Okay. Yeah, sorry, Gern. I don't use it enough to have an answer for you there. Okay, on this side, I don't want to push shift. It's messing with it. So let me insert like that. It's not the cleanest ring, but that'll work, I think. I might have to go through and adjust some of these by hand to make it a little cleaner. Add the cylinder 3D and change the divisions. Okay, it's just weird. Yeah, I'm not sure how you would get it. Maybe do a support ticket to Maxon and ask them about it, why it's acting the way it is. Okay, I want to do Y maybe? No. Z, okay. I'm just turning on Z symmetry so I can move this around a little better. Yeah, I'll show the references here in a second. I showed them before. So this is actually my own design from college. Yeah, sorry, Gern. I wish I had an answer for you, man. I just don't use them enough. So this is my own design from a robot that I designed back in college. Right here. This is what I'm doing. So this is one drawing, and then this is another one. This is from 1997. Yeah, it's been a while. And yeah, this is just, I mean, look at this lettering. Isn't that awesome? Oh, geez. Okay, so now I have this ring, and then I want to, let's see what happens if I delete this poly group. I'm going to, oh, thanks. Okay, I'm going to duplicate and then delete this just in case this doesn't work. So that's something that you should do yourself, is if there's ever something that you want to do that you're unsure of, you're not like, okay, is this going to work or not? Always just either save your tool and like do a new iteration and just go for it, or duplicate a subtool and try it. That way you're not like worried about messing it up. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to the Z modeler and do an extrude. And I'm going to say all polygons this time, not just a polygroup. Okay. Then again, I want to extrude it to the inside. And I'm not sure if this is going to work. It looks like it's going to work. I want it the same thickness that I made that door, or similar. So there we go. That's good. So now I have a little lip on the inside, and then the door has thickness now. And what I can do is I can redo the polygroup, like group by normals, and it should give me a brand new set of polygroups based off of if the edge or wall is past a 45 degree. And you can change that tolerance too if it's not working for you. See, group by normals, there's a 45 degree right here, this little, and this is my custom menu. If you are looking for it and you don't have my custom UI, if I hold down Control, you can find it under Tool, Polygroups, Max Angle. Okay, that's where you can find that. And that's just under Group by Normals. Okay, but as I extruded this, it looks like it kind of gave this an inward bevel. So I can do one of two things. I can either match that same shape with my doors, because my doors are, it looks like they do kind of come in a little bit. I was going to say if they're straight, then I'll need to bring them in. But what I might do, just to help me out, is I might grab the internal panel, or the inside of this panel, and just scale it just a little bit so it fits a little bit better. Kind of like a key, like a tapered key, right? Okay, so I'm going to go back to this. And now that I have all these polygroups, I'm going to do a mirror and weld. So again, they're symmetrical. Okay, and then I'll do a crease polygroups down to the same level 3. So what this crease level does is it will hold on to the crease up to 3 levels of subdivisions, and then on the 4th crease, or on the 4th subdivision level, it will let go of that crease and start to smooth it out. So if I turn on dynamic subdivisions, you'll see it smooth right out. But see how crispy these edges are? So right now it's being subdivided twice. If I roll up to 3, it's still crispy. I roll up to 4 and it loosens up. See how it's starting to go softer, which is nice. Turn off solo, and now I have these panels. So I have the top head panel, or the top head, and then I have the body, and then these arm panels. And these arm panels, I want them to basically, come here Gizmo, I want them to go into the body like this, and then they would slide to the side. That's the function of them, if they were rigged. Okay. Are you guys still with me? Is this going okay? All right. So now this sphere, let's turn off and get it down here, reset it. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. There we go. Gizmo reset in the sphere, and I want it to clear that new edge that I just made. It's going to have to go a lot smaller. Okay. So that's what it's going to have to look like. And I'm like, okay, how far out do I want to put it? Maybe just right there. Okay. And he won't really look like complete until he's out and posed like this, right? It's not going to look all, he's just going to look like a weird hard edge egg thing. Okay. But I'm pretty happy with the way this panel turned out. So let's put an internal lip on the inside of this head shape, like on the bottom of it. And basically all I have to do is pretty much the same thing that I did with the other, with the bottom, and just insert an edge here. So insert an edge. It's like this, maybe, I'm guessing at the thickness, something like that. And then I want to go to polygroup, polyloop, and make a new edge loop right there. And then what I can do is just extrude this bit right here. So let's go extrude, polygroup all, because I don't want to extrude everything. And just grab this and pull it down. And the reason these edges are smooth is because I didn't crease them. So all I need to do is, let's crank this back down to 3 and do crease polygroup, and there you go. Nice and tight, and go back up to 4 subdivision levels, and now we have our same crease tolerances with a semi-soft edge right there. There we go. And if I unsolo that, now we have this head. Let's test it. Turn off symmetry, and then you can click on this and it will center the gizmo in the unmasked area. And then I can reset. Oops, that's not what I want to do. You got to hold down Alt and hit this, which will reset the gizmo to the world space. And now if I raise it up, you can see how it fits right in there. Whoop. And looks like the wall is thinner than this wall. So let's go in there and increase the size of this. Now there's a trick to selecting 2 polygroups. I'm going to turn off dynamic subdivisions so it makes it a little easier. But basically, you hold down Control plus Shift and click on a sharing vertice right between 2 polygroups, and it will hide everything else. So that's one way to select 2 polygroups at once. And then I can mask these off, unhide everything, invert the mask. And I want to scale this down. I'll put the gizmo about right there. Actually scale it up. Something like that. Looks like these points are sticking out a little bit further than I'd like. But we'll get there. Okay, so now I kind of want to key them in a little bit. So it's like has a little bit of a narrow slope to it. So I'm going to put the gizmo right here and scale it down just a little bit. We can turn our subdivisions back on and then solo it and check for fit. There you go. So now it kind of fits right in there like that. Whoop. So when his head comes up, it'll look like that. And I don't know that I want it to be that thick. So let's solo it again. Mask up this bottom part and just kind of push it up. So it's just a little lip. We don't need a big one. I have a question. When you're finished sculpting a game character, does it matter if the high poly model has good topology, even if you plan on retopologizing by hand afterwards? Absolutely not. You can have the crappiest topology on your high resolution mesh that is possible. You can have it made of all triangles. It just needs to look good to bake all of that information down to your low poly model. Does it say my name is Layla on the thing? Is the title wrong, Neil? I can change it. Yes? Okay. Great. You know, I want to try something with some live Booleans here. Here, I'm going to change it really quick. Okay. There. Is it better? Hopefully that fixed it. Okay, awesome. So what I want to do is some hot live Boolean action. I shouldn't say that too much, I'll get in trouble. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this sphere. And I'm going to set it to negative. Negative. Then I'm going to put it, let's see, I'm going to put these panels. I gotta get straightened up here. Because I have two. Okay, I don't need this one. Delete it. Fixed. Okay, great. Let's do a save as robot 2. There we go. Okay, so I have this second sphere here, and if I turn it to, I turn this one to negative, but I don't want to delete this sphere. Basically what I'm looking to do is cut a sphere out of the bottom of this piece right here to make more of a rounded like slot to hold this sphere when it closes, and that will also allow me to get a bit of a thinner edge right here. Okay, so I'm going to take this cut sphere and I'm just going to scale it up slightly. I don't want to go right to the edge, but about like this. Okay, and what I like to do whenever I do live Booleans is I like to put it in folders so I can manage what's getting cut and what's not. So if I click on the body and I hit Control F, I'm just going to call this Boolean 01. And then I'm going to put this cut sphere right underneath it in the same folder. And now if I turn on live Boolean, it should, and it should cut that mesh. See that? Now it's giving me this nice big gap that's being the sphere shaped inside. Okay. So now if I select this sphere, I have a lot more room. See that? I have a lot more room to scale it up and fit it in there. I just have to be careful because if I 3D print this, I don't want it to be too thin right there. It's getting quite thin, so I got to be careful. But I want to keep this edge flow and make it look like more of an egg shape. So I wanted to thin out that wall there because the sphere is supposed to drop out. I mean, I don't know that I'll 3D print this because it would have to be like held up in a, I don't know how, but maybe with some clear plastic or something like that to work, because he actually works like this, right? He's got this bottom sphere and then the smaller sphere and then a medium-sized sphere, and those all tuck up into his body like this. When he's all closed up, he has, and then he works on like a magnetic way. I don't know how. Anyway, so it really wouldn't work 3D printed, you know. I'd have to figure out some kind of a solution for that. Anyway, but I could animate it later on. Looks like it's kind of twisted. Weird. Okay. So that's kind of how live Booleans, that's how I like to use them, and I can cut panels in with the live Booleans. I can add stuff, whatever I want to do. But next thing I want to do is make the like the head cut, because it's a lot like Buzz Lightyear's shield, where it has, except for instead of it being clear all the way through, which I'm thinking about making it possibly clear all the way through, right? Yeah, some thin spring wire. Oh yeah, like for like armatures and stuff, that kind of wire. That might work. So it kind of looks like it's holding itself up. That might work. Okay. So let's take this head and look at the geometry here. And it looks like I can cut it right here. But I was thinking about making 2 clear bits and just kind of having his eyes rest in there so you can see his eyes from the back and the front, rather than having it designed like this. I don't know. I kind of like the shield because it's like a blast shield, right? And it opens to reveal his eyes. Whereas Buzz Lightyear has, you can see his head all the time because it's a glass dome, the whole, well, plastic dome, but you can see the whole thing the whole time. So I might just stick with this design for fun. But okay, here we go. Let's try it. So this is from the side. You can always tell what direction your scene is facing by looking at this head on the top right-hand side. That will show you your scene direction, which is really nice. I'm going to turn off live Boolean for a little bit because when you have live Boolean on, it kind of slows down your machine, and sometimes it hurts my live streaming. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just isolate this bit. Whoops. Let's go to select rectangle and isolate this bit. And how this works is I'm holding Control plus Shift and it makes this green box. Anything within that green box will be isolated. And now I can just hit Control W, and I'm going to go to a different color that's obviously not this teal color. Okay, and this can be my new shield. Okay, and now I want to split it off, but I don't want to split I don't want to split off all of these pieces like I did before accidentally. So what you can do now is just go and isolate this again and say split hidden. Okay, and that will just split this one piece off of the rest. I'm going to turn off dynamic subdivisions, and now we have this piece here. And again, I'll turn off dynamic subdivisions because now that I have that open hole, it's smoothing it down and kind of getting rid of that bit there. Okay, so I'm trying to think about how I can fill in this area nicely. There's a couple ways I can do it. I can just fill it and then ZRemesh it, or I can I'm trying to think of a way to do it. Let's see, double. Let me look at it here. I could manually do it by hand with my ZModeler brush. I may just do that, but I'm not quite sure that's what I want to do yet. Or I can duplicate. Here, let me try something. This is going to get crazy. This is like my old box modeling days of old coming in and trying to figure out how to do this, but let's see if this is going to work. Okay, so I have this piece right here. I'm going to duplicate it twice. 1, 2. Can we use bridge in ZModel? Yeah, you can use bridge. So if I do this manually with bridge, let me just show you what I could possibly do. Okay, let me save this in case, because I'm going to do a lot of undoing, and sometimes undos will crash things. So I'm actually going to walk you through some ideas that I was having as far as things that I could possibly do. Okay. Hey Nessie, next time there'll be a live tutorial. Let us know beforehand and show us what we'll be doing. So Nessie, I go live every single Monday, and I usually don't know what I'm going to be sculpting until like an hour before I go live. I'll just find something and then sculpt it. It's not really not really a tutorial. It's more of kind of a demo showing off the product, showing off the, you know, what ZBrush is capable of. But if you do want to learn, I have a full exclusive course, and it's called the 3D Character Workshop. That's my logo right here. And if you're interested in checking that out, just go over to 3dcharacterworkshop.com and you can join the free area over there, and then you'll see all of the products I have to offer. And it's on a brand new website. I just moved to a brand new website, and I split up the course into smaller, more affordable chunks. So you can go check things out over there if you're interested. Okay, so if on ZModeler, I can hover over an edge, push spacebar, and then go to bridge. And there's it says bridge edge. Okay, so I can take that and it'll say, see how it says bridge, 2 edges. Click the first edge, boom, there's one, and there's the other one. Now it made an edge like this. Okay, and then what I can do is I could insert some edge loops. So I'm going to say multiple edge loops. So I would essentially click on this edge and go boom, 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 like this. And I would have to count to see how many I would need across there. I'm just kind of guessing here to line up. It looks like I didn't guess very well. Anyway, I'd have to count them, and then I would bridge over across to here and bridge across to here and cut those up. So that's one way I could do it. Another way is I could leave it closed and live Boolean out this chunk. That's another way I could do it. But how I'm thinking about doing it is utilizing the pieces that I already have like this, and then just squishing this one down like, I don't know how I came up with this idea, but I did. So clip curve, I can squish this down using this flat edge like this. And so I'm flattening that side and then flattening this side. It doesn't look like I did anything, but see, it actually flattened it down. So now I have this flat piece. And let's see, let me hide this one and just show this one. Okay, so now that this piece is all flat, I'm gonna grab this. I'm actually going to straighten this out. So this is a trick you can do. If you have an edge loop like this that isn't perfectly flat, you can mask it off. Whoops. Let's go to mask pen. Okay, I'm going to mask this off. Come on. Mask. There we go. Okay, and then I'm holding down Control, and then I'm adding Alt to that selection to invert the mask like this. Okay, so now the mask is inverted. I can grab this clip curve brush, which I already have selected. And what this does is it takes everything on the shaded side of this line and smashes it up towards the dotted white line. Okay, so I just have to be above the highest point, and then it will grab that whole line and pull it. And I can pull it down too, like this. Whoop. And now that line is perfectly straight. What is a good way to practice 3D modeling? Like, how should I exactly learn and hammer the knowledge in from tutorials? So I'm trying to understand what you're asking me. So the best thing that I tell my students to do is practice blocking out characters, because the thing you need to know the most is proportion and measurements. Everything else is technical. But once you have measuring and proportions down, then you can sculpt anything. And then, you know, the other half of it is the technical, how to use the program, right? But basically, you practice how to understand the proportions for your entire career. I'm still practicing. Okay, so now that I have this, I want to push this down and get it really, really close. Okay, now I have this, and which is here, and now I have this squished piece. So I can line them up. I can clear the masking off and merge this down. Okay, and now I have this cap, and I can hopefully weld points on it. And all the points are close enough that now if I hit dynamic subdivision, it looks like they got welded together, which is perfect. Okay, and now I'll do the same thing with this side with the other one that I duplicated. So we'll grab this one. Same thing. I will use the clip curve and just smash the whole thing down to this curve. So it just grabbed all that geometry and just slammed it against that dotted line. Okay, and now I need to straighten up this bottom line here. So I can go like this, straighten it up. Boom. Whoops. I need to mask it first. There we go, or else it'll grab everything. It does respect masking. Okay, like that. Follow along with the tutorials and then try and use what you've learned on your own projects. That's probably a better way of saying what I was trying to say. But I think I was trying to answer like what to practice, right? You can follow through with the tutorials. Now, one thing that's kind of unique with my approach is I want my students to be able to model any character or concept they see. I do have a course where, well, I have a few where I walk you through modeling a specific character, but my main workshop is walking you through specific ideas, like this is how you model hair, this is how you do hard surface, this is how, you know, and then you can take all of those ideas and put them together and be able to model whatever character you want to model. So I don't walk you through a specific character using on my main workshop. Okay. So now I have this, I need to line it up. This should be exact, but looks like it's not quite that close. I'm going to make this one straight as well. So I'm going to select this and straighten it up, which I gotta mask it first. There we go. Straighten this up with the clip curve brush. And that should be really close. And then just got to check to see if this is, looks like it's dipped below the edge. So let's mask this bit off and raise it up a little bit. It needs to be right on there. Hey, welcome back, Ian. That was a long coffee run. Okay, so now I'm going to merge this to this one. Merge down. Goodness, where are you? Merge down. There you are. Clear my mask and do a weld points. Okay, now these are off a little bit. They're not lining up, so I gotta move stuff around to make it line up. I wonder why it got squished differently. Oh, you went and bought some. Oh, that sounds good. Okay, so see if I hit dynamic sub D, you can see it's not welded. So I'm gonna have to scoot some of these edges around. If you have a question, go ahead. Okay, and now I'm gonna turn on symmetry, grab my move brush, and just kind of scoot these over. Hopefully they'll be close enough. Come on, you can do it. Clear that mask and see if I can move this. There we go. Okay, it looks like the points were snapping for some reason, which is nice. Oops. Okay, let me even out this geometry to make it a little cleaner. I'm going to turn this off. It's because I had ZModeler selected when I was moving those around, which allowed it to snap points. Okay, I'm going to take this, well, I'll have to mask it off first. And then I want to slide this edge in a little bit. And this one. That's better. Do you have a Telegram account? I do. I don't know what that is. So no, I don't. Hey, what's up, Steven? How are you doing? I wanted to say I really enjoyed your last short video. Oh, are you talking about the purple dinosaur? Thank you. Okay, mirror and weld. I'm going to turn up the tolerance on mirror and weld a little bit. Weld distance, not too much. There, it looked like it worked. Okay. Now let's do a crease by polygroups. And there we go. And now that we have that, we can do different things with it, like make a little lip edge on the inside of it for like the cover to sit inside. So now we have this cover, right? It's like a blast shield sort of thing. Now, again, I can utilize this clip curve brush. Let's see, I'm going to mask this off first. Straighten this up. I'm going to actually go the other way. So with this clip curve brush, there's a few hotkeys that you need to know. Control plus Shift will activate it, and then you can drag it a line. And if you have Shift still pushed down, it's going to snap up, like this. You can also add spacebar to that selection, and it will move the cut around. And then if I let go of space and Shift, but still hold Control, now I can swing this around any way I want to. Or I can add Shift again, and it will snap. Okay. For the longest time, I'm like, how do you move that thing around? You have to add Shift, or sorry, spacebar to the selection. I only do the left side and then mirror and weld. Oh, you can use ZModeler point action stitch points. Yeah, you can totally do that too. Yeah, what Leonard's talking about is in the ZModeler brush, if you hover over a vertice, you can see it says stitch right here. And that just allows you to grab one point and stitch it to the other. And it will also give you options like, do you want it, after it's stitched, what do you want to do with it? Do you want the first point to stitch to the new one, or to stitch to the first point, or an average in between? So those are some options you have. Okay, let's see. Unmask this one. And that just kind of straightens that up, because I'm gonna shrink it down a bit. I want to shrink it from here. So I'm just going to scale that down like this. Okay, so now that looks like a little blast shield thing that can slide up into the head. And I can actually test how it would slide by rotating it like this. And it's not a perfect sphere, so probably after this I'm going to have to push it up so it is more of a perfect sphere, so it can slide back into the head. Because it looks like a squash sphere right now. So I'm going to have to edit that. And then you can utilize Project All to get what you've done to match and work with like a perfect sphere. We'll do that here in a second. So yeah, this is like it's more of a tedious live stream. It's not so organic. When you're working with hard surface, you got to kind of turn into engineer person. So before I add thickness on this guy, I'm going to actually do that. I want to, I'm going to stick a sphere in here. See if we can match it. So I didn't think about that until just now. Okay, and I want this to be, I don't know if it's perfectly in here, but I'm going to unhide the floor, split unmask points, and grab it. And it's, I'm going to put the gizmo in the center of that sphere by clicking this button right here, and then sending it home, which is right here. And now I know that it's perfectly centered on all axes. And now I can raise it back up and fit it right here, which now I'm understanding why that didn't work, because I actually just need to move the pivot of that blast shield down to here to pivot back into the head. I just had the pivot too high. So if I grab this shield again and move the pivot down here where the head is split, And now let's try and rotate it. There it goes. See how it just slides back into the head? I just had the pivot wrong. So now I don't need this sphere, so I can delete it. Okay. Does it work to make hard surface models in ZBrush? Because I feel like it's easier and more intuitive to make it in Maya and import it into ZBrush. It's completely up to you. It really is a matter of preference. Like I used Maya for 15 years of my career, and I did box modeling and stuff, and I agree with you. A lot of this is easier inside of Maya or something like that, or even a CAD program, right? But I just wanted to show that it's possible. Everybody asked me to do hard surface stuff in ZBrush, so this is that day. Is somebody having problems getting into my website? Try without the www. It should work with the www. And I think there's a problem. I keep getting an error 404. Something to do. Yeah, just do it without the www dot. It's been having issues, but it took me like 4 days to work out do that. So if I go just type 3dcharacterworkshop.com without the www dot, and it should take you to the website and look just like this. Okay, or let me just try it. Might give me an error. Yeah, it looks like it's okay. It's erroring out. Well, that's not good. All right, I'll have to look into that. But yeah, just take the www dot off. It should work fine. That's no fun. I thought I fixed it. HTTPS, because it's secure. But if you type www, or if you just type 3dcharacterworkshop.com, it will just put the HTTPS on there for you. So it shouldn't be a big deal. It's faster to say World Wide Web than to say, that's interesting, Stephen. That is a fun fact. Okay. Let's double this and grab ZModeler and extrude polygroup all and give it a thickness, maybe something like this. And group by normals. Crease tolerance 3, crease polygroups, just like we've been doing, and that will give me this nice corner. And then I turn on dynamic subdivisions. That gives me a nice shell. To set up correctly, I had to do it like that, or YouTube would not post it. Oh, interesting. Thanks, YouTube. Okay, so now that I have this blast shield cover thing, I want to give it some lippage. I want to kind of set it down inside of a lip on this piece. So again, I'm going to go to ZModeler and do a polygroup and do polyloop, and then make this whole thing its own polyloop. And you can see obviously that this is not going to work. The shape of this is not going to work. So I'm going to hide this. So it's we're only seeing this bit. To set up correctly, how to do. Yeah, it's so weird. Dub. Yeah, you can say it like that. It's funny too, because when I was on a help call with the people trying to help me out, that's how they said it. Dub. Okay. I'm gonna mask this off and just kind of relax. That's not really working very well, is it? Let's turn this intensity way down. I'm just wanting to bring these edges in away from this outer edge so I can slide this outer edge in. Okay. So ZModeler, slide edge. Can you ask a question about AI? Yeah, I guess. I don't have much to say about it. I did a search for 3D Character Workshop and it found the site. I clicked on it and voila, I was in. Thanks, Leonard. I'm glad that worked. It's been a chore to get that thing working. I'm just gonna say that right now. Okay. I want this edge loop just to barely be to the inside. So I can see it. Hey Mimi, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Computers make life easier. Really enjoy your workflow. Thank you very much. Pulled this up way too high. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to adjust these after I extrude. Okay. No idea what I'm listening to. I'm switching it up. There we go. That's better. All right. So let's solo this, and I want to make. I'm trying to decide if I want to extrude these together. I think I do. So again, we're going to use that trick of isolating these two polygroups like this, then hitting Control W to put them in a new polygroup, and then using the ZModeler to extrude polygroup all. And I'm just going to extrude this in like this. Whoop. Make a nice little lip there. Which character are you sculpting? I am sculpting my own design for once. Yeah, crazy, crazy. I hope you're sitting down. So I'm modeling this character that I drew back in 1997. I designed this little guy. It was kind of based on that movie called Batteries Not Included, that Steven Spielberg movie, and he's supposed to be the size of an egg, a little egg shape, like in real life, the size of an egg, and then he comes apart and rolls around on these spheres, and then kind of has this head that comes apart and has this antenna that looks around. You know, he looks around and has these little metal arms, and these little metal arms, they collapse in his body. So I have this other drawing that I did. Forgive the crudeness. It's so bad. Oh my gosh. This is like 20-year-old me. So you can see the arms fold up and go into his body. And then it is a robot. Yeah. So yeah, his arms fold and go into his body, and there you go. That's kind of the design. So this is on my second monitor, and that's what I'm doing. So this robot was for an animated short that I had an idea for a long time ago that was called Just Visiting. And it was this little robot that came down in his flying saucer. And the story is about how he's trying to find energy, because his spaceship is running out of energy. So he's trying to look for a new source of energy, and he goes into this old farmer's house in the middle of nowhere, and he ends up finding the batteries in this old farmer's remote control, and he pulls the batteries out, and then he goes and puts them into his spaceship. Like, he pops the little cap and puts them back. Anyway, that's the whole story. Yeah, it was very Pixar inspired for sure. Okay, I need to increase these crease these edges right here, because if I turn on dynamic, you can see it makes really weird smoothing right there. So what I'm going to do is go to this and hover over this edge, go to crease, edge, click right there. There we go, and then subdivide it. There we go, much cleaner. Okay, but I also need to crease polygroups, so there we go. Eric, yeah, it's, I don't know. I look at it and I'm just like, ugh. I'm not really a sketch artist. Charlie, will you upload this to live 3D character workshop? No, it will be on the Pixelogic 3 YouTube channel and the Twitch channel. You can find it there, and all of my past streams if you're interested in those. Okay, so now we have this little lip, and now our little shield should theoretically fit right up in there. Okay, but I want to extrude these, not extrude. Well, do I want to extrude them? Trying to decide. No, it wouldn't be extruded. I'm just going to move. Gosh dang, I'm trying to decide. You know, I'm going to. Okay, so here's how you extrude something without using polygroup all. So say I have these two polygroups. I can do the same thing as when I was assigning a polygroup to a poly loop. I can do extrude poly loop. So I can go here. It's kind of hard to say. Extrude poly loop right here. You have all the same target options as you do with your any other tool. So I can click here and it will extrude that whole thing out, because I just want to give it, I kind of like that shape. That's pretty cool. I think I'm going to use it. Maybe I will extrude this poly group in a little bit. Poly group all. Let's push that in slightly to give it a little edge. That's kind of fun. Happy accident right there. There we go. Give it a little nice little detail. That's fun. Okay. Then it gives this little swoopy right here, but I think I'm going to cover it up with a, what I was going to do is put a cylinder right here for the shield to spin on. That was the idea of the original design anyway. Kind of had this overlapping piece right here. You can see it on this one. There's just this little cylinder right there to allow this thing to kind of open and close. I mean, it doesn't really need to be there, but it's, yeah, it's just the thing that it swivels on. I don't know what it is. Okay, I'm gonna put it in there and we'll see if I like it. Okay. Now I need to reset the gizmo in order to make it snap correctly. How you do that is just show the gizmo, hold down Alt, and click on this circular arrow. Even if it looks like it's not reset, it will reset it. And now when I drag out a cylinder and hold down Shift, it will snap properly. Hey, Lord Luigi, how's it going? Welcome. Okay, let's turn on local symmetry and turn off dynamic. And that will get us back to how that used to function. Okay, so with this little guy, I can make it large and like overlap the lower piece, which is kind of how I had it originally. I can rotate this like this. It's kind of fun. Kind of looks like earmuffs or headphones or something like that. I have some issue with ZBrush. I block out body from cubes, but after I start dynameshing, my PC starts lagging. If I block it from one sphere, I won't have any issue. It works smooth. Mimi, try making sure that dynamic subdivision is turned off. Okay, because if you dynamesh something and you have dynamic subdivisions turned on, that will make your computer lag pretty hardcore. Same with using Sculptris Pro geometry. If you turn on dynamic subdivisions with Sculptris Pro, it will also make it lag. Also, when you Dynamesh, make sure you don't have too much density when you're doing that. If you're Dynameshing at too high of number, it will also really slow it down as well. Like Eric was just saying there. I kind of like these. It feels like little headphones or something. Okay, so let's add some detail to them though. And just duplicate off a piece and then shrink it down. Make it pretty low profile. And invert the mask, hit Control W to put it in a different polygroup so we can select it easily. Okay, now we can make his eyes. I'm gonna take this blast shield thing and let's reset the gizmo and center it. But I want to put it down here because that's kind of where it opens from, and there you go. That's how it will open up. So it'll probably open to about like right here, something like that, which is kind of cool. And I'll probably make a groove for it in the back wall of this, so it looks like it actually has a place to slide into the back there. Kind of looks like Grogu's little floating cradle. Every time you say blast shield. Yeah, Mark Hamill whining. Put the blast shields down, I can't even see. Oh man, sorry. What do you want me to say instead? I should probably make a groove down on the bottom as well, just to make it all connect and look like it's all pieces and parts that's working together. Where do you get the animated pen pointer? What are you talking about? Are you talking about my bare arm that's not here right now? Is that what you're talking about? Luke was definitely a whiner. What's going on, McBubbles? How you doing? Okay, let's make some eyeballs for this guy. Give him some personality. So it's funny that I get people asking about it when I'm not even using it. I turned it off because I was getting so many questions about it, which is totally fine. But it's called Spud Arm, and it's just something that you can, it's an overlay with a green screen that you can set up in OBS, and it will give you, if you guys are wondering what that is, it looks like this. See, it's a green screen, and then I just make it full screen like this, and then I turn it on, turn this on, and there you go. Whoop. Yep, Eric won the bingo. Oh, that's too funny. Okay. I'm turned off though. All right. I'll never escape. Oh, funny. Okay. Where was I? I'm gonna make some eyeballs. Here we go. Eyeballs. Okay, why are you doing this to me, local? I still don't understand the local symmetry thing yet. I don't understand that yet. Okay, I gotta reset this again. I want to make these as big as possible. Whoops. You don't want to push. When you're inserting a mesh like this, you don't want to push back because it will misshape in your. It basically scales along X and Y and not Z when you push back in. So you don't want to do that. You want to be very careful. You can snap it holding Shift, but then let go when you're done. Why didn't it? Come on, reset. There we go. Okay. I'm only going to draw these 50 times. What do you guys... okay, you guys, just so you know, you're watching the official Maxon streaming channel, which is Maxon and all its products like ZBrush and Cinema 4D and all that kind of stuff. So I can't really talk about non-Maxon products during this stream, or AI or NFTs or anything like that. I'm basically just demoing the software. And I don't mean to be rude about it. I just want to let you know why I don't really talk about those things. Okay. I think I want to settle these eyeballs down into the surface, just like I'm doing a little bit, like this. And then I want to split this off. Okay, and then what I want to do is stick with the shape language of the body, and I'm going to split these eyes up into separate eyelids. Okay, now let's go duplicate. I'm going to go ahead and name these just so I know what's what. Eyes. Duplicate this one. Rename this eyelid lower. And eyelid upper. And then I'm going to swap these. Okay, so this is the upper eyelid. And what I basically do is scale these up slightly. Actually, I'm going to turn on local symmetry again. Okay, and now it's okay if they're overlapping just a little bit in the middle, and use my clip curve brush and clip these off right on that center line, and it will just take that geometry and squish it right up there. Okay, and then I'll grab the lower ones and do the same thing. Actually, what I can do, just so I have them the exact same size, well, I want them slightly smaller. I like the upper eyelids to be larger and the lower ones to be slightly smaller, so I won't scale those up quite as much. What I was going to do is duplicate the upper eyelids, but I'll just have these like this, these like this. Now they overlap. Kind of funny to see how every ZBrush artists are duplicating their subtools, have the shapes they want. Yeah, that's pretty much, I mean, it's a work smarter, not harder thing, right? Okay, and now these eyes are not clearing the visor. I'll call it a visor, Steven. How's that? They're not clearing, the visor's hitting them. So what I'm going to do is turn on my pizza boxes, clear this out, which basically this allows you to move multiple subtools together. And I'll select this one, and hopefully the eye inside. There you go. And scale them down slightly to clear that. I want to squish them together a little bit more. You want the Star Wars nostalgia? Lower the blast shields. Okay. There we go. Oh my gosh, McBubbles, that's hilarious. This is Wally and Eva's kid. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's it. That's what this is. Oh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. Okay. Well, now I kind of want to give it different eyeballs, right? We're gonna have to give it the Wally like brows. That is hilarious. Okay, so I'm gonna add those. This guy never, I mean, he just used his eyelids for expression. See how his eyelids are making the expression? Yeah, I could make the binocular stylized. I do like the spheres. So the spheres come from the inspiration of batteries not included. Let me show you those. So this is one of the robots or the little spaceships, and this is kind of the idea of, you know, I would have all this technical stuff on the surface, but these are basically how the eyes work. It's like these little robot guys and their little eyes like this. Super simple, cute little robot guys. Yeah, those are. And it's been forever since I've seen that show. I gotta watch it again. It's really good. All right. That's hilarious. Okay, so basically, if I grab these lower, let me save this just to make sure. Don't want to lose any progress. Okay. And how I rotate these, let's slap that gizmo, snap it right to that center dot there. And now I can open these eyes like this, about this far. Do the same thing with these upper lids. Pop the gizmo right there, reset it. And then open these. Hey, Supernatural. Thanks so much, Superman. I appreciate it. Okay. I'm gonna try something. Now, just to match the shape language again of this, you can also call it a canopy. Of the canopy, the visor, the blast shield. So many different words. All the words. Okay. Trying to decide. See how this edge is kind of swoopy? So I'm gonna undo that. And then fix the swoopy line first. No, I don't want to do that. I want to mask it like this. Clip curve. Put this curve. See how it just straightens that line right out? I can lower it a little bit. There we go. And then let's do an extrude poly loop. Can you guys see this little orange line on here? See the little orange line? It will tell you the direction of the poly loop. Basically, I can just extrude it like this. That's what I want it to look like. And then crease polygroups. There we go. Kind of looks like, do you remember those things you could buy from like the little quarter machines? You can flip them inside out and set them on your table and then they would pop. Kind of reminds me of those a little bit. That's pretty cool. It kind of gets this bump, bump, bump. These kind of act like little brows in a way. It's fun. Doesn't really have a nose or a mouth. So what I was thinking about is grabbing this thing and pulling it down to sort of make a mouth like this into its neighboring area. Yeah, I might have somebody rig it up. I know of one of my students rigs stuff in Cinema 4D. So like kind of bring it down like that, and then I would grab the body and do the same thing. Something like that. Quarter machine, gumball. Yeah, it is a gumball machine, but you put a quarter in it and it doesn't have gum in it. But yeah, one of those. Okay, so eventually I'll pull that down and I'll see if I can maybe warp this piece down here. That'll be the trick, is to get these warped shapes. That's what I call 3D printers now. So yeah, so this is how I designed it originally. Was you can kind of see it has like this cylindrical floor in there, and then it had this wrapping outer border. And so when the shield came down, the shield would be actually shaped the same way. So the shield would actually have that little wave on it as well. But I don't know. Put a quarter in and the designer keeps working. Yeah, it's funny. Okay, so let's make some eyeballs with some live Boolean action. Okay. This is what we call design on the fly. I can put, you know how Wally has those his eyes are kind of camera eyes. Well, Oliver, we were saying that this is like the child of Evie and Wally. And now I can't stop. Yeah, Mick Bobbles came up with that. Now I can't stop seeing it. So yeah. It's just hilarious to me because again, this was way before Wally, and this was 1997 is when I drew this. This is when I made this design. Which is, yeah, it's totally the like the Wally Eva love child. Okay, that's hilarious. I'll have to show Jerome. He couldn't make it today, but oops. Jerome is the lead sculptor at Pixar, or one. Well, what is his? I keep messing up his title. He just calls himself a sculptor. He's a sculptor at Pixar, but he's been there since forever. Creeps me out. I'm seeing the eyes like this, whatever the model. I just think of something like bees or flies' eyes. Yeah, kind of. Okay, let's insert a cylinder. Oh gosh, come on. Just it throws me off every time. Let's reset this again. There we go. Visiting Disney next week. Don't have t-shirts ready. Nice. Okay, I'm going to split these off on mask points, and then what I want to do, mask this side off and then shrink this side down to make it kind of this iris shape, and push it into here. And then again, we'll do so these are the eyes. I'm going to grab these eyes and then hit Control F, which will add a folder. I'll call it eye Boolean. And then I want to put these irises in the same folder and then hit cut and then turn on live Boolean, and it should cut them out. Okay. Okay, what's going on? I need to move them apparently. Oh man, okay. Let me undo this. When I scaled them down It wasn't locally, so they went Ski Wampus. That's a name, right? Ski Wampus. Hello, welcome. Yeah, the park or the studio? Okay. Now we can push him into the eyeballs like this. There we go. That's funny. I pushed him in too far and then it revealed the end of the sphere, which made it look like pupils. That's hilarious. Okay. Maybe like this. Disney World Orlando. Nice. Okay, so what's cool about this is I can mask this off, and then I can scale this in to shrink his pupils up and down. Like, bringing my ZBrush hat, nice. Yeah, Steven, I kind of liked it too. Maybe I'll keep it. It's like out on the, it's like a unique thing out on the edge. Whoops, I gotta clear that mask and then do it again. Boink. It's like this floating, floating pupil thing. Okay. But what I want to do, I think I'm going to make them more like camera lenses, maybe. Because I don't know. I guess what I could do is like cover it with a clear sphere and then have those pupils floating on the outside. Let me look at Wally reference. Yeah, his eyes are not even close. If you look at the interior of them, they have like those camera. I'm not really seeing a good reference image of his eyes. They're kind of like, I mean, they look like binoculars, right? I was thinking about making him like a camera iris. Something like this, where they open and close, but that would be engineering madness. Not quite sure if I want to do that or exactly what. Oh, hopefully my stream didn't pause. Okay, I'm going to turn off live Boolean just for a second. Yeah, shutter blades. Okay, let me think about this. I have like 45 minutes left to think about. And I want to get into the arms. I think I'm going to leave the eyes as they are right now. Otherwise, I'm going to spend all my time figuring out shutter eyes. But basically, I was going to use radial symmetry, make them down at 0, 0 in space, and then move them up when I'm done. It's tired and sad. Yeah, yep, for sure. That's what Wally is pretty much, is tired and sad, right? Okay, so these arms are essentially just like cubes and spheres. That's it. Cylinders, a couple cylinders in there as well. Just primitive shapes. So let's start with this panel so I can make sure I can fit them in, fit the arms in here. And then we'll figure out the proportions from there. Okay, are they snapping? Oh gosh. Local symmetry strikes again. All right. So let me split these off. So they got to clear this door and then kind of hang out like this. then his elbow would also clear. I need to make him taller. Maybe cover this sphere a little bit more down here, because those are very short arms. I need to make that door taller too, maybe. Are you trying to say Earthworm Jim sculpt? Never sculpted Earthworm Jim before. Okay, because I kind of want him this long. And then I want his shoulders to be kind of here. So I'll adjust his body in that panel to fit these arms. And then down again. And now I want local symmetry back on, so I can shrink these down, because it's kind of like it's kind of like his body, where it's a big. Sorry, I'm gonna do this a little differently. I'm trying to remember how this is going to, because it has to swing up and you know, fold into his body like this, and then fit in his body like this. So I need to be thinking about, I can't make his wrist sphere too big because it needs to share space with his shoulder sphere. So his shoulder sphere is going to be moved back in space a little bit to make room for this one. So this one has to be relatively small. And then all of them get moved back here like this. Part of his design has me thinking about Ben from Treasure Planet. Yeah, kind of like that. Good old Ben. That's a name I haven't heard for a long time. Mostly the arms, yeah, kind of. A nice 3-fingered little grabby kind of deal. Okay, so this kind of, the upper arm kind of has a triple cylinder. So that drawing looked like an old school graffiti character with a throw up. Like, are you talking about this thing? Okay, this is, I need to tell you what this is again, okay? It's a horrible drawing that I did in 1997 when I was in school. I'm not really a sketch artist. This is actually my design from back then. And I decided, it's March of Robots right now. Decided to do a robot, and I'm like, hey, I should go dig out that really old robot design that I did way back in the 90s. And yeah, it's horrible. I know. This lettering is terrible. But hey, it is what it is. I'm trying to make it better. Oh, goodness sakes. What is happening with this insert sphere? Okay. Better save this. Once it starts acting weird, always save. Imagine shoulder joint out of the body is not straight side but quarter, arc side up. I don't know if I follow, John. Shoulder joint. Oh, if the shoulder's not like straight up and down as it comes out. Yeah, I'll block it out and then I'll like nudge it and futz with it and see if we can get it looking better. Okay, let's see. I'm going to draw it from the top, actually. Okay, I don't know what in the world this cylinder is. It's just deciding to come in. Okay. To get rid of it, I got to do auto groups and hide it and delete it. And then mirror this. Mirror and weld. No. There we go. The seam. You think the stream's tried to censor you? Vintage, yeah, totally. If you want to call it vintage, or just call it sucky. Okay. Shrink this down. Oh goodness, come on, local symmetry. Do me right. There we go, and duplicate this again. Shrink it down even more. Thanks, Kostas. I couldn't tell because you called it throw up, so I was assuming that you were talking about wasn't good, which I agree with. It's not that great. But thank you. Glad you like it. It's like a birthday cake cylinder. Auto groups. Mirror and weld. Okay. Elemento, how's it going? This is just a robot of my own design. I've got most of it hidden right now. I definitely need to get a hotkey for local symmetry. I'm realizing that quickly. Okay, and just trying to keep everything centered as good as I can here. Okay, looks like a little lantern. Kind of a fun little shape. Okay, now for the bottom, the lower arms, it's two cylinders, kind of mimicking the human bones of the lower arm. Hey, what's up, Zofo? Welcome. So they're meant to kind of twist as he rolls his wrist around. Okay, what in the world? Fast forward this song. Okay, that's better. All right, I'm going to duplicate this cylinder and shrink it down. Extrude it out. And then duplicate it so it's got a friend. Whoops. I hit Control F instead of Control W. That's weird, it made it white. Usually white in ZBrush signifies a subtractive subtool or object. Is that instancing or just symmetry? It's just symmetry. There's not instancing going on. Auto groups. See, I do a mirror and weld, and now these are both. They're actually real geometry. It's not an instance. Sometimes I wish ZBrush had instancing. It would make some things easier. Move this just a little bit so I can straighten this out. No, it's a graffiti term. It's really cool to revisit Olson. Oh, I see. Got it. Yeah, I know it looks like graffiti, but I'm not really a graffiti artist. I just play one on TV. Okay. That's fun. Kind of liking that. Maybe his shoulders are a little bit too big. Oops. Shrink those down just a little bit. Bring them out. Okay. Now that we have that, and usually when I do a model, I make them palms down, and right now it would be palm back. So I'm going to, it's funny too, it's going to work like this. So if I rotate this wrist from its center point, it would twist those two pipes like this. It's not doing it. It would work better if I actually rigged it up to aim rather than it's collapsing on itself right now. So okay, I'm gonna hide this sphere for a moment, and I'm just gonna spin these two so I can do palms in. Okay, then insert a cube. Let's see if we get any weirdness. No, it's just that cylinder. I'm not sure what was up with that cylinder. Okay, so with this palm, come on. I'm going to bury this palm in this sphere about halfway. Make it wider. Mask off the top. And kind of bevel it down like this. And I'm going to use this same cube all over the place. Okay. Yeah, it's nice because if you have instancing, what's nice is when you use something like the cut brush or the trim brush, whatever you want to call it, the knife brush, if you, like this clip brush, if you have this object selected and you want to say trim it like this, if you're going to trim it, if I do it straight, it will work just fine on both sides. But if I angle it towards its mirrored neighbor like this, it doesn't, let's see, like it doesn't work. It's actually sort of working this time. I don't know why. It's doing mirrored. Okay, that surprised me because back in the day that would not work. It would actually clip this side and cause grief. But it's working. That's kind of nice. That's a delightful surprise. I don't know when they added that, but that's cool. Okay, so let's do, I'm going to duplicate this sphere everywhere. So I'm going to do one for the knuckle, the first knuckle. Kind of bury it in here a little bit. I know what you mean though. I had shortcuts for delete half, do my thing, then mirror and weld. Yeah, that's how I used to do it. And a smaller one right here. Make sure those are their own polygroups. And weld this again. If you want all separate polygroups, you always need to do auto groups right here, and then auto groups. I wish auto groups would respect symmetry. That would be another nice reason to have instancing. But then you have to do a mirror and weld so you get the symmetrical colors across the center. Still know people that duplicate, then mirror and merge down. Yeah, habits never die. That's for sure. I still have my bad habits. I just want to make these a little bit bigger and actually overlap them a little bit and have them hanging off. I think it's kind of cool to break that sharp cube shape right there and overlap them pretty close, but I want the pinky just slightly smaller than the other one. Why is there overlapping when you cut? What do you mean? Okay, and then one for the thumb. Opposing thumb. Make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Actually have this opposite. I made his wrist shape backwards. So I'm looking at this and it's thin at the wrist and wider out here, and I want to follow that. I like that design. I have it opposite. So let's make some adjustments. I gotta go. Good luck with the model. Thanks, Adrian. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, so let's see. Just gonna shrink this down to make it match this sphere up here, and then widen it at the bottom. There we go. That looks better. That gives me a lot more room for the fingers. And I want to give it some arcs as well. So I'm going to use ZModeler and then insert. The flat islands when he cut. Never knew why either. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'll show you. I'll demo it here in a second. Okay, insert, single edge. Does it not work when it's hidden? Come on. Oh, not inset, insert. So close. Must be masked. Okay. Maybe that's why. There it goes. All right. There's one. There's one. Yeah, I'll explain it. Okay, let me save this. Okay. So basically, when you use clip curve, it should be called like smash curve instead of clip curve, because it's not really clipping anything. Well, I guess it depends on your definition of clip. But it basically takes everything on the shaded side of the line. When you make this line, it takes everything on the shaded side and smashes it down to the white dotted line, okay? And if there's geometry right here, and it's gonna push it and smash it up against that line like this. See that? It's smashing all of that geometry, and it's gonna leave that little squashed thing. Is that what you're talking about? So it won't do it if you keep your if your object's volume is less than the apex of that object, then it won't make those little islands. Okay, it'll flatten down just fine. But if you're on an angle like I showed you and push it there, it's gonna push it all up to that line and squish it. So if you don't want that, you can use the knife brush, the new knife tools. And those I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to break my model, but it will actually slice it and fill that hole with new geometry rather than squishing it. So that's the difference. Okay, anyway, I think that is where I'm going to end for today. This has been a lot of fun, modeling one of my really, really old designs. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This Wally and Eva love child. Oh, I love it. Does that make sense, that explanation? I hope so. I kind of want this pinky really small and weird. I like it. I like that. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it. It's fun revisiting old designs. You know, a long time ago, I did this frog tutorial for Gumroad. And I'm actually, you know, it's been a long time since I made that. And I want to make it in a different program, a mobile program, and see how it fares. Looking great. Thank you for your time, Shane. You're welcome. All right, you guys. That is where I'm going to. That's where I'm going to end it. I'll bring down my design just so you can see what I'm trying to model again. So it's this little guy. Whoops. Let's turn on perspective, turn off my gizmo. Little beauty shot. You can turn off line too. So he's all colorful without the lines. So anyway, this little hard surface robot, March of the Robots. It's fun to puzzle out and figure out hard surface inside of ZBrush using live Boolean and panel loops and things like that. It's really fun, especially to get around using the Z modeler. Let me turn on live Boolean actually, so you can actually see everything. It's giving me some weird results through the shoulders there. Anyway, there you go. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next Monday. And as always, I give away my brushes, my user interface, and my ruler file for free. You can go find that over at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. Don't put the www dot on the front, the triple W on the front. It won't. It's been having troubles. So just 3dcharacterworkshop.com, and you'll see my free ZBrush brushes once you log in. You can grab them for free. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you guys over there. And once again, I've taken my course and I've split it into smaller, more affordable pieces. So if you wanted to hop in and learn from me and learn how to do this stuff, it's never been more affordable. So go check it out. All right, thanks guys. Thanks Neil, thanks everyone. We'll see you next Monday. I appreciate it. Take care guys. Happy sculpting.